Hey guys, so many moons ago when I was just starting out on YouTube, I think that this was one of my first recipes. Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make Hong Kong baked pork chops with rice. It's kind of like pork chops on top of fried rice with cheese sprinkled on top. The problem is so much of that was not vegan, and so I'm really happy to be showing you this recipe today because it's going to be homemade seitan. It's going to be mochi mozzarella, which that recipe will be coming up very soon for you guys. And I'm actually going to be using a special ingredient for the egg fried rice that is not tofu. So please stay tuned for that, and I can't wait to show you all the recipe. So we're making our own seitan today, very exciting. I have 1 cup of vital wheat gluten, and then to that, I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of a vegan pork bouillon powder. And if you guys don't have that, feel free to substitute for mushroom bouillon. And then I'm gonna add 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And baking powder is just going to make this seitan a little bit more tender and a little bit more airy than, you know, the rubbery stuff that sometimes happens with seitan. And then to that, I'm going to add right around 1 cup of water and bring this dough together. So you can see that I'm using chopsticks because I want to mimic fingers. I don't want to overwork the dough so that it remains kind of a little bit more tender. Now, if you don't like your seitan like that, feel free to work the dough a little bit more and develop the gluten if you are looking for somewhat of a firmer texture. So let's go ahead and work on that pork marinade. I have a little bit of the Lee Kum Kee minced garlic as well as the double deluxe soy sauce, and that will just add a nice savory flavor to the pork. I'm gonna go ahead and add some Shaoxing rice wine, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of coconut sugar or a sweetener of your choice. And just mix all of that together and pour it over the seitan and let that all just rest for right around 15 to 20 minutes. So this all gets steamed in a preheated steamer on medium high to high heat for right around 35 minutes, and I'm just pouring in some of that really yummy marinade so that the seitan soaks up some of that really good flavor as it cooks. Those blew off a lot. I might have been a little bit strong with the baking powder, but I will adjust for that down in the recipes. But if you do like your seitans a little bit more airy like this, then I would say go for a little bit more baking powder. And then again, if you like it a little bit less airy, a little bit firmer, then just go with less baking powder. So I'm going to just put those aside to rest for a couple of minutes before I dredge them in some chickpea flour with some black pepper, and I'm just going to fry it on both sides for a couple of minutes until they develop a nice crust. So now time to make the Hong Kong tomato sauce, and it's a little bit like the Japanese where it's more ketchup based. I have one onion that I've sliced up and I'm gonna saute it in a couple tablespoons of oil up until it gets just a little bit softer before I add in a 1/4 teaspoon of the Lee Kum Kee minced garlic, as well as 3 large tomatoes chopped up. So cook that over medium heat for right around 5 to 6 minutes until the tomatoes soften up. And meanwhile, we're gonna prepare the rest of the sauce that's going to thicken everything up. I have a little bit of cornstarch right here, and then to that, 3/4 of a cup of vegetable broth. And you just wanna get out all of the lumps before you put in anything else. Other stuff, let's see, coconut sugar, 1 teaspoon of that. I have a little bit of the Lee Kum Kee Double Deluxe, and then I have 5 tablespoons of ketchup, and that's really going to give it a very distinct kind of Hong Kong Asian tomato sauce flavor, as well as some black pepper, and then you can salt to taste. So once you bring that sauce up to a boil and everything thickens up, this is good to go. So I have cooked 1.5 cups of brown rice. So it does seem like a little bit more right now, but this is going to be your base layer before you add on the tomato sauce. And I would say add a little bit more than half of the sauce because you want to leave a little bit more to top off the pork chops. Oh my gosh, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, it's an egg fried rice. Where is the egg? So I'm actually using ackee, which is used in Caribbean cuisine a lot. It's actually a fruit that bears resemblance a lot to scrambled eggs. So I actually have 1 cup of ackee that I mix with right around 1/4 to a half teaspoon of black salt, just so that it would pick up some of the flavor first. So if this was a little bit of a boo-boo, I'm going to put the pork chops right back on and then top it off with cheese. So this is that mochi cheese that I've been telling you guys about, and again, recipe will come soon, but this goes into a 375-degree oven for, I'd say, like 20 to 25 minutes. The mochi cheese is a little bit different in that it takes time to melt and it takes time to kind of really brown up. So just continue monitoring that, and I topped it off with some scallions, of course, and I want you guys to see how well this cheese stretches. The flavor in this pork chop is out of this world, and it's not too rubbery. You get some of that like sweet ketchupy flavor and the cheese and the savory pork chops, and oh my gosh, it's so comforting. It's so good. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this recipe, and it is really great for when the season starts getting a little bit cooler because it is just so comforting. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all again next time, okay? Bye!